Julie, good morning. Oh, I need to record this because, yeah, gosh, this is a bit sooner than I was expecting, but I've just had a dream and I've been sitting with it. I'm still kind of half asleep. I've been drifting in and out. Um, so I something I had a dream yesterday morning. Remember when I woke up and I made that video about, excuse me, Dartmoor. What I didn't say was that I had a dream before I woke up and recorded that video, and I had been meaning to document it, but with everything that happened after I made that video, it's like all hell broke loose, and I ended up doing a massive investigation. Oh, um, but I won't go into it all here because that's not what this video is about. But the stream that I had before I woke up and made the Dartmoor video, it was basically I was outside this American style apartment complex and all this mail had been scattered on the ground. There were parcels. There was, it's like either someone had stolen like a mail bag or something, and things had been dumped, or someone had the mail bag and like thrown it in anger. But there was like letters, there were parcels, all sorts of things. And I was kind of like a little bit outraged because I'm sort of thinking like, who the hell, like who steals people's mail? Like, like what a low thing to do. So even though it wasn't my apartment complex, it was like I was walking by and saw like all this mail and post and parcels on the ground. It was in bushes, it was like on the ground, it was in the grass. So I went round picking it all up, and I went into like there was like a alcove, well not an alcove, but like I went into the apartment bit where there was like apartments on the ground and apartments on the top, and there was like a stairway in the middle that you went up to get to the apartments in the top. British British apartment complexes and that aren't like the way this is. This was definitely American. So I'm going to, like, on the left there was like all these post boxes with like a shelf thing, and I was putting the letters in, in the mail bit, and then putting like the parcels next to the boxes where they belonged. And this man came down the stairs, and he goes, "Oh, hey," and I said, "Hey, I said, don't worry, I've found all these parcels and that on the ground, and I'm just putting them where they belong." And he was like, "Oh, that's so cool, thank you so much." And one of the parcels I had that was wrapped in like black plastic was his, and I handed it to him, and then this woman came out from the right, like her apartment was on the right of where the stairs were that the guy came down, and she goes, "Hey," she goes, "Oh no, sorry, I'm telling you the second part of the dream, the dream I just had." So yeah, the man came down. Sorry, the man came down the stairs. I handed him the parcel. He said, "That's so cool, thank you so much." And then I woke up, checked my ex, saw the Dartmoor thing, and then whatever, yada blah. So now here I am. I just had a dream. Like before I went to bed last night, I was watching that chapter with the case of Mica, and in the when I went to sleep and I just woke up, it's like I'm still, God, I watched it, I was having my cocoa. I've spent like the last couple of minutes trying to formulate everything that I was going to say, and I'm just screwing it up. I'm getting ahead of myself, so just give me a minute. You would, you wouldn't believe the stuff that's gone on. So yeah, so I had that dream. The stuff with Dartmoor happened. All hell broke loose yesterday. The king has just stepped up and become the saviour. Like, he's just doing an incredible job. And then I watched that chapter, having my cocoa, about Mica, and I kind of briefly looked into it because I thought this. I think this is something I need to look into. I think I've got a case to work on here. But I was tired, so I thought, well, I'll figure it out in the morning. So then, this dream that I had, that I've just had, that's just woken me up. I was in that same apartment building, standing at the stairs, talking to that man that I gave the parcel to, and she came out from the right, from an apartment that was like to the right of the stairs. And she said to me, "Oh, hey, you're the one that works for the Lord." And I said, "Yeah, I am." And she goes, "You do the Lord's work?" And I said, "Yeah, I do." And she goes, "You can help me." And I said to her, "Well, yeah, I was going to." I said, "I was going to look into it." And she goes, "No, no." She goes, "What you're thinking," she said, "you need to make that video." And I said to her, "I would." I said, "But there's a couple of things that I'm not quite sure about." And she goes, "No, no, what you're thinking is right. Can you please make that video?" So here I am. Mica Miller came to me in a dream, and she's asked me to make the video and say what it is that I am thinking, because she's saying what I'm thinking is correct. So for her parents out there, for the police, FBI, anyone investigating it, my line of inquiry is this, and I've only briefly looked into it. If I need anything to add to it, I'll put it in the description box below, or do a follow up. But if you don't know the story of Mica Miller, she was a pastor's wife. She was abused. Her and I, some of the things that happened to her were the same thing that used to happen to me. Her husband got her locked up. He wanted to insist that she appeared crazy. He lied to get her locked up and have her psych assessed, and then sent her all these emails and everything where, you know, he was pretending to be supportive in that, but he made everything about him, where he was setting himself up to look like the grieving husband who had tried his best to help a mentally ill woman and all that sort of stuff. So I think that's why her story stuck with me, because I thought, like, I know what it's like to be accused of things that aren't true. He was, just like my ex-husband Chris, was setting the stage and planting emails and doing this and doing that, to pull off the plan to make her death look like suicide. What her parents and family and police and that need to investigate is a couple of things. This is the line of inquiry that I'm going down, that she's saying, "No, no, no, you're right, you're on the right path, this needs to be looked at, you're right." He kept putting tracking devices in her car, and one of the things that I quickly looked up on Sugarglue was tracking devices. The other thing, I don't know whether her family can answer this or not, whether she had like smart watches, or those Bluetooth earbuds, anything with Bluetooth, anything that was smart. You know how they like monitor your heartbeat and, you know, those kind of things, those smart watches. If you don't know the story, she was the pastor's wife. They were getting a divorce because he was abusive. He was he was a pedo, doing things with little kids. He actually met her when she was 14. And yeah, he was inappropriate. Both him and his father were inappropriate with children. The father with boys, the son with girls. J.P. Miller, his name was, her husband was. And he was 100% obvious. It's obvious that from after they got married, when he got her locked up in the mental facility the first time, right up until she died, he was setting it up to make her look crazy, so that when he presented the evidence after her death, they'd say, oh, well, it was suicide. One of the things that kept happening with her is he kept putting tracking devices in her car. When she went to get her car looked at, they found a tracking device in her car. And this is important because on the day she died, she went